In this video, we are going to learn how to shade with pencil. Even if you are a complete beginner, shading is one of the most important skill any artist can have, but it can be tricky to get the hang of it. That's why I am here to walk you through everything step by step, starting with understanding lights and shadow, and moving on to producing various textures and effects that will give your drawing life. Step 1 is choosing the right pencil. When it comes to pencil shading, choosing the right pencil is crucial. Pencils come in different hardness levels, from 9H, which is hard, to 9B, which is soft. The harder the pencil, the lighter the mark it creates, while softer pencils create darker marks. For beginners, it's best to start with an HB pencil or a 2B pencil, as they are not too hard or too soft and can be used to create a range of tones. As you become more experienced, you can experiment with different hardness levels to create different effects. Step 2 is understanding light and shadow. To create realistic shading, you need to understand how light and shadow work. When light hits an object, it creates areas of light and shadow. To create shading, you need to be able to identify these areas and recreate them on paper. Take a good look at the object you are drawing and identify the areas of light and shadow. Like core light, this is the brightest area of an object where the light is directly hitting it. It is usually the lightest value in your drawing. Next is highlight. This is the area of the object where the light is reflecting off the most. This is often the second lightest value in your drawing and is slightly darker than the core light. Next is midtones. These are the values that fall in between the lightest and the darkest area of the object. They help to create the three-dimensional form and texture of the object. Next is reflected light. This is the light that bounces back into the object from nearby surfaces. It is usually a slightly lighter value than the midtones. Next one is occlusion shadow. This is the darkest shadow on the object and occurs when the object blocks the light completely. It is usually the darkest value in your drawing. And then it is cast shadow. This is a shadow that is cast into nearby surfaces by the object. It is usually darker than the midtones but lighter than the occlusion shadow. Step 3 is start with light pressure. When you start shading, it's best to begin with light pressure. This will help you create a smooth transition from light to dark areas. You can always add more pressure and darken the tones as you go. Start with a light touch and gradually build up the tones by layering more strokes over each other. This will give you more control and make it easier to create realistic shading. Step 4. Experiment with different techniques. There are many different shading techniques you can use to create different effects. Stippling involves using small dots to create shading, while blending involves using a blending tool to blend the tones. You can also try hatching, which involves drawing parallel lines in one direction, or cross control shading, which follows the contours of an object to create a sense of depth. The more you experiment with different techniques, the more you learn about how to create different effects with your pencil. Step 5 is practice, practice, practice. Pencil shading is a skill that takes practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Try shading different objects and experimenting with different techniques. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They are the natural part of learning process. The more you practice, the more confident you will become with your pencil, and easier it will be to create realistic shading. Thanks for watching this beginner's guide to shading with pencil. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more art tutorials like this.